If you've ever asked a neighbor, who do you use for internet, or wondered what else is out there, well, this episode's for you. Welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast, episode 129. I'm your host, Perrysburg resident Kim Newlove. The Perrysburg Podcast is a resource for Perrysburg residents. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. Our website is perrysburgpodcast.com. We are talking about internet providers in Perrysburg today. My husband, Nathan, suggested this topic back in 2025, and I never got around to it. Honestly, I didn't take it seriously, but as I looked through the history of the Perrysburg, Ohio Facebook group, I saw that the question about internet providers comes up about every other month. It is a question that people want answers to. So I made the Internet Providers episode part of my 2026 vision board, and I'm going with it today. Let's do this. January might be a time when you're looking at your household budget and finding ways to save money. So this might be good timing to bring this topic up. This episode has three parts. I love a good list episode. So, what I'm going to do first is list the internet providers that members of the Perrysburg, Ohio Facebook group have mentioned in the last 6 months. Second, I'll tell you what else is out there according to my online research. And third and finally, I will suggest what to consider when comparing and choosing an internet provider in Perrysburg. By the way, this episode is not sponsored. I am a Perrysburg resident. I live in the city, and nobody is paying me to do this podcast or this episode. I recommend that you do your due diligence when choosing an internet provider, and I would suggest you compare providers using some sort of a spreadsheet. I'm old school. I like a piece of paper with a pen, and I like to sit down and fill it out. My husband is an engineer, and he's more of a Microsoft Excel guy. No matter what you do, I just recommend that you compare providers. Compare providers before you choose one. All right, let's go through the 9 providers that I saw listed in the Perrysburg, Ohio Facebook group. This list includes a mix of fiber, cable, wireless, and satellite providers. Availability varies by address. In alphabetical order, they are number 1, Amplex, number 2, AT&T, number 3, Buckeye Broadband, number 4, Dish, number 5, Omni Fiber, number 6, Spectrum, number 7, Starlink, number 8, T-Mobile 5G Home Internet, and number 9, Verizon 5G Home Internet. And my online research revealed 8 more internet providers, and I don't think I had heard of most of these or haven't heard of them for a while. Again, this list includes a mix of fiber, cable, wireless, and satellite providers. Availability varies by address. Here is the list in alphabetical order. Number 1, Brightspeed. Number 2, CenturyLink. Number 3, Earthlink. That's one that I hadn't heard of for a while, but I have heard of that one. Number 4, Frontier. Number 5, HughesNet. That's HughesNet. HughesNet. Number 6 is Viasat. Number 7 is Windstream. And number 8, hopefully I say this right, it is XNet Wi Fi. That's the letter X, the letter N, the letter E, and the letter T. XNet Wi Fi. And that's it for internet service providers in Perrysburg. That's all 17. We had 9 in the first part and 8 in the second part. Next, I'll suggest what to consider when comparing and choosing an internet provider in Perrysburg. Let's start off with an easy one. Do you need the internet for business or residential use? I happen to need it for residential use, of course, but I also run a small business from my home. If you're in the same boat, then make sure you take that into account. What all do you need? Do you need just internet, or do you need a package that covers cable TV and phone service too? How many users will be on the internet at the same time? Will they all be using a web browser, which is pretty simple? Or will they be gaming, watching TV, watching a HD TV or a 4K TV? Will they be streaming content? Definitely make your shopping list before you talk to someone in sales. If you don't know what you need, it's hard for anyone to help you choose. Also, geography can be a challenge. Which providers are available where you live, and how will you know? I know this podcast is specific to Perrysburg, but we have citizens in the city and citizens in the township. So, how do you know what's available? What I recommend is that you go to the website for the provider, for example, Spectrum, and you type in your address, and they will tell you if they service your address. I don't know if all the internet providers on my list serve both the city and the township, so it should be pretty easy for you as an individual to research that. Keep in mind that your location may limit your options. Depending on how tech savvy you are, you may already know all this. Next topic is cost. What's your budget and how much does your top choice cost? Are there any promotions? If you try to leave your internet service provider for another one, do they have a customer retention department that will offer you a better promotion to keep you as a customer? If you bundle internet and television, can you save money? So, those are some things to think about. Let's move on to speed. What internet speed do you need for uploads and downloads? If you didn't know there was a difference in options for uploads and downloads, you need to research that. Do you need fiber? Do you need something that's good for gaming, streaming, remote work like online meetings and webinars? Or do you need something that's good for rural coverage? All that, plug that into your spreadsheet. We're getting towards the end. Two things left. One is equipment. What equipment is provided? I believe some internet providers call this hardware. So, what hardware is included? And do you know how to use all of it? How steep is the learning curve? It's one thing for an internet provider to offer you their hardware, but it's another thing for you to know how to use it. So, make sure that you get the equipment you need and you know how to use it. And then finally, this is the biggest thing on my list, it's customer service. Customer service is important. Choose an internet provider with human staffed customer service and clear channels of communication. If you're working late, which I often do, and the internet goes out, can you call someone and report it right away? Can you get some action right away? Can you get an ETA on when your internet will be back up? These are important questions. Customer service is important. Make sure that you're comfortable with whatever's provided. I think that does it for topics you should consider when choosing an internet service provider here in Perrysburg. We covered who serves Perrysburg and what really matters when choosing a service provider, which is how you use the internet, what's available where you live, and what fits into your budget. Do you have your spreadsheet ready? The topic of internet providers comes up about every other month on the Perrysburg, Ohio Facebook group. So I guess I'm bringing it up for the group this time. When I post this episode in that Facebook group, I would love to hear who you use and why. You just might help your neighbors meet their internet needs and lower their costs here in 2026. Thank you for listening to episode 129 of the Perrysburg Podcast. The show notes are on perrysburgpodcast.com. In the show notes, you will find the names and links for several of the internet providers mentioned today. You'll also find a link to sign up for the Perrysburg Podcast's weekly newsletter in the show notes, so check that out on perrysburgpodcast.com. I will email you every time a new episode comes out. Share the episode with your friends and neighbors who need an internet provider, and follow the Perrysburg Podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube so you get each episode right when it comes out. Thanks for listening today, and I'll talk to you next week.